Fee agreed. 30 million quid between West Ham United and Manchester United for Harry Maguire. Maguire's going to get his move, and that means he's going to get playing football again on a regular basis. I'm delighted to say Alex Cook has joined us. That means, along with McDonald's, we can round up the latest transfer news that is breaking out here this morning. Okay, Alex, good morning to you. Maguire gets his move. Danny's alongside me. I mean, I think all round it suits all parties, right?
Yeah, good morning, Jim. Good morning, Danny. It's been another hectic morning in this incredible transfer window. As you say, in the last few minutes, talkSPORT have had it confirmed that West Ham have an agreement, £30 million, the bulk of that money to be paid up front to Manchester United to sign the player who, of course, up until, 3 weeks ago, was Manchester United's captain. It's a dramatically reduced fee on what United paid Leicester for Maguire's services, but I think it was a move that had to happen, really. Maguire wasn't going to get game time this season at Manchester United. There's a European Championship on the horizon. And I think if West Ham can get a confident Harry Maguire, it will be a good deal for them as well. But I do think his confidence has been badly affected by what's happened at Old Trafford. Even in a recent friendly at the weekend, he was booed by some Manchester United fans. So I think for him, a fresh start really was needed.
Okay. Although he did well in the World Cup, didn't he? I thought he played well, and the England side played well, and he seems happy there. And actually, a change where you're not feeling that enormous focus on you every week. I think it's a really good move.
Yeah, well, he's going to get playing again, Danny, and that's what he wants. 20 past 10 at half-time, we're going to take calls. 03717 223344 810 89. So let's stick with West Ham then. Are they inching towards James Ward-Prowse? What are you hearing, Alex?
Seems that way. I was hearing last night that James Ward-Prowse is now really pushing for this move away from Southampton. Big year for him as well. Same reasons for Maguire in some ways, because he wants to be part of Gareth Southgate's squad to go to Germany. He missed out at the World Cup. He missed out in the previous European Championship. So he is determined that he won't complete an unwanted hat-trick. He needs to be playing in the Premier League. We were told, Jim, weren't we, that West Ham's last offer for Ward-Prowse would be their final one. Seems that wasn't quite the case. It was just a bargaining tactic after all. And at the moment, it looks like James Ward-Prowse could well be bound for West Ham. And this is David Moyes getting his way. We spoke a lot this summer about maybe two different lists, one from the new sporting director targeting overseas-based players. David Moyes' list made up of players proven in the Premier League, certainly Maguire and Ward-Prowse tick that box.
Okay. What about Alvarez? Is that nearly over the line?
Yes, I believe so, Danny. He travelled for a medical, I think, yesterday. So £34 million fee agreed with Ajax. So this is West Ham spending the bulk of the Declan Rice cash. I think the James Ward-Prowse fee will have to be at least £35 million, 30 million for Maguire. So you're talking the best part of £100 million, which of course was the upfront money they got for Declan Rice.
And this is Edson Alvarez, for those who don't know, will be formerly of Ajax, but can do both defensive midfield or play centre-back. So he brings a bit of versatility with him.
Yeah, he does. And I think they needed that because, Declan Rice was such an integral player. I think David Moyes has said publicly, we might need two players to fill the void left by our captain. Maybe those two players will indeed be Alvarez and Ward-Prowse. We know they've still got interest in Scott McTominay as well, but I think Maguire was always the more likely player to depart Old Trafford. Erik Ten Hag keen, I think, to keep Scott McTominay unless a big money offer comes in.
You and I were talking yesterday, Alex. We may as well out ourselves on this one. And then the news began to seep out last night. But we'd heard whispers. Manchester City in for Paqueta of West Ham. Yes, they are. Now, do we have anything more accurately on that? I mean, are we talking in the region of 70 million?
Yeah, I don't think it's gone as far as a formal bid yet, but I think Manchester City have indicated that they'd be willing to pay £70 million. David Sullivan, we know, can drive a hard bargain as he did with Declan Rice. I think they'd be looking for a little bit more. But I think what's key here is Lucas Paqueta's feeling about it. How do you turn down the opportunity to go and join the treble winners, to go and play for Manchester City, to go and play for Pep Guardiola? And he did change agents recently as well, I'm told. That's usually a sign that maybe a player is planning his next move.
I mean, Danny, for us, number one, will he play on a regular basis for Pep?
Well, I think if you look at their three midfield positions at the moment, if you'd say the start of the season, if he was picking his best team, you'd have Rodri, Kovacic and De Bruyne. But you need more than three. I mean, he obviously Bernardo Silva could play in there if he stays, but he generally played outright in the big games last season. So Paqueta could obviously he could play in a De Bruyne role. He's obviously not on the same level as De Bruyne, but he's creative and he can play that. And he can also play the Kovacic role where he's a bit deeper because he plays there for Brazil, Crookie. So it makes sense to me. And I
think there's more to come from him, Danny, as well.
Yeah.
Would you go along with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, his last 3 months in the West Ham ship were really good, weren't they? I thought the fans were starting to see the real Paqueta, and he had some terrific games near the end of the season.
Yeah, I agree. And I think he will feel that he can really express himself at a club like Manchester City. I think it'll be difficult for West Ham to keep him. But as I say, there's a long way to go before that move becomes a formality.
I was at this little informal Brentford Football Club gathering the other night at Barnes Bridge, and you didn't let it push too much, push or probe, because it was like, nice to see you, have a lovely season. 1 or 2 questions I'd like to have asked, I couldn't ask. So now, here's one of them. David Raya, he's out there by the looks of it, and he's going to Arsenal, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, this one's been in the offing for a few days now. Obviously, Matt Turner, who was number 2 to Aaron Ramsdale, is joining Nottingham Forest. That was a pretty clear indication they were confident of getting David Raya. I'm told the fee is around £30 million all in, so some £10 million less than Brentford were asking for earlier in the window. He only had a year left on his contract. This is actually a move that's been in the making for some time, because the Arsenal goalkeeping coach, fellow Spaniard, was at Brentford. They tried to sign him, you may remember, a couple of summers ago. Didn't quite happen. But it's going to be an interesting dynamic now, how he competes with Aaron Ramsdale for that number 1 shirt. I thought Aaron Ramsdale was terrific in the Community Shield at the weekend. I thought he was terrific last season. But 2 very good goalkeepers. And again, it's an illustration of Mikel Arteta being backed by the Arsenal board.
Okay, and finally, dare we go there? Yeah, we do. We have to. It seems like Bayern Munich have been down in the basement of the Allianz Arena and found a few million more. So it looks like they're prepared to pay 94.5 million quid, 110 million euros for Kane. Any indication this morning out of Tottenham that at last that'll be okay, done?
No, I've got to say Tottenham have remained pretty tight-lipped throughout this process. They certainly haven't wanted to provide a running commentary on what has become a saga. We've always been told on talkSPORT via sources close to Daniel Levy that his asking price would be in excess of £100 million. So this still falls below that, not too far below it. And the question that Daniel Levy has to ask himself, can he afford to reject an offer of that size? It would be a club record fee for Bayern Munich by some distance for a player who could leave for free next summer. The other question is, of course, how much is Harry Kane worth to Tottenham in terms of finishing position with him? I think they've got a chance for the top 4. Without him, I don't think they have. And how do you begin to source a replacement? So big decisions to be made. I think we're going to know one way or another by this weekend. If Harry Kane plays against Brentford at the weekend, I think he'll stay. Just a quick word on Wolverhampton Wanderers as well, Jim. Information reaching me this morning. Gary O'Neill expected to be appointed as successor to Julian Lopetegui today and to take training as early as tomorrow. He'll be in the dugout when they go to Old Trafford, a bit of a baptism of fire. Danny will be there. It's live on talkSPORT on Monday night.
Alex, thank you very much indeed. Alex Crook with all the latest in the world of transfers. The latest being fee agreed between West Ham and Manchester United for Harry Maguire. He will head to the London Stadium. Thereafter, will Ward-Prowse join up at West Ham? Will McTominay join up at West Ham? It looks like Edson Alvarez, the defensive midfielder, come centre-back from Ajax.
He won't play
centre-back
as well.
Nope.
Nah.
So he's heading there too. So it looks like West Ham are clicking into gear in terms of getting business done. And they had to. They had to. Sullivan said 105 million, burning a hole in his back pocket for the sale of Declan Rice to Arsenal. It seems now much of it is being spent. Having said that, will he add to that if he sells Paqueta to Manchester City? A whole bunch to get through this morning, but West Ham fans, one in. That's Maguire.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.